On the weekly chart, we're going to take a look at ticker symbol T in here. That is going to be AT&T. Now you can see this weekly candle that we just had in here. Nice little breakout overall. Bounce off this 200 SMA, breakout of this sharp trend line in here. A slight breach of that 9-day EMA before coming right back down to life in here. So it looks like everything is having a good little run in here on some decent volume as well. But obviously, we have an earnings catalyst coming up this week, July 22nd. So that whole movement that we were just talking about in here last week probably had a lot to do with that earnings report, but we're going to see what happens in here as we open up the new week. You got about a couple more trading sessions before we are going to get that earnings call. Now, as far as technically, what are we looking at in here to the upside? We're watching that 22.29. That's going to be our first area of business in here. That was a support for us back for 2 weeks in a row in the beginning of June. That's going to be a nice resistance. If we can get above there, then we'll worry about this blue line right here. That's going to be that 9-day EMA. You can see we went up and then we breached it for just a second in here this past week. So that's going to be an area that we do need to hold, and then we can worry about getting back into those mid 24s. Now, to the downside in here, what are we looking at? Well, you have this overall structure in here. So this trend line is kind of matching up with that low 21 mark in here, 21.38. It's also where that 200-day SMA is. That's going to be trading at that 26. So that's going to be a whole area in here that we do need to hold going forward. It should hold a lot of footing for us, but obviously earnings could change everything. You might be getting more than a one standard deviation move one way or another in here. So that's going to be something that is going to be possible. But overall, technically, what are we looking at? It looks like that should hold if we do get something that's going to pull us back, but you never know what could happen in here. Anything outside of that, though, we are going to be looking all the way down here at that $20 mark. And that's where the lower trend line of this overall structure is going to be placed. Now, as far as your expected moves in here, you got about $1 expected move being priced in by this week. And if you go all the way out to your August monthlies, it's looking like your standard deviation is going to be at that $23 mark to the upside, and then right around that $20 mark to the downside in here for your overall your overall call skew in here. So it looks like everybody's kind of pricing in things to the upside in here. So we're going to see how that affects things as we have that earnings report. But all in all, dollar expected move, nice decent move coming in technically last week on some decent volume of an overall breach of this upper trend line of this overall structure. So let's see if that can continue as we go into this earning report and see how things shake out for AT&T coming up on July 22nd. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.